I'm going to have the hate coming at me from some Catholic parishioners. Understand, I am not going after you. Innocent people in the Catholic Church have been led astray, and all I'm trying to do is point out what is the truth. So before you attack me, especially on my YouTube channel, please pray to Jesus before you do it. So Joe Rogan was interviewing Jordan Peterson today, and Joe Rogan had talked about how he had went on a tour of the Vatican, and he talked about this Pinecone statue, and I had never heard of it. So it is at the Vatican. It's called the Pinecone Courtyard. Many of the sculptures at the Vatican really, in my opinion, they don't represent Jesus. Well, I'll show you how much they represent Jesus. But yes, this Pinecone, though, does go back to some ancient gods, such as this. Ancient secrets come into sight. The pineal gland, pinecone symbolism in the third eye. So I don't want to say that, you know, who is trying to lead people astray, but you really should be on the lookout that people are either very misled or they're deliberately wanting to lead you into this path that is about all of these religions and Jesus being one and the same. Jesus was literally trying to keep the people away from this stuff. This goes back to, I mean, the pineal gland we have a pineal gland in our head, but this is all goes back to false gods. Ancient pinecone magic and symbolism. And as you can see there, it says Greek god of wine and symbol of fertility, prosperity, and immortality. Everything always seems to root back to the Egyptian and Greek, especially the Greek gods, which I've said before. It only makes sense that were they the ones that God casted out and ended up being here. And that's why Jesus said the whole world lies with the wicked one. Yep, Egyptian god Osiris, a staff of two intertwined serpents topped with a pine cone. False gods. Interesting that the medical symbol is also two serpents intertwined. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. This is also in the Pinecone Courtyard at the Vatican. Yes, this sphere. This sphere is in many places all over the world as well, including the UN. They wanted the Catholic religion, the false church. Again, any Catholic parishioners, I'm not attacking you. Please go to Jesus first. Who did Jesus go to spread his word? It was not experts. It was not people that learned about him through some school. It was him. Jesus said he was the high priest. Yes, so if you wanted to really push what a form of, you want to say it's a Christian church, well, it explains why the Catholic Church has been able to get such a stronghold everywhere. God said the whole world lies with the evil one. Now everybody's seen pictures like this. They're two heads of the same bird. Yeah, this statement, though, is wrong. Christianity and the Roman government. If it said Roman Catholic and the Roman government, that would be more aligned because they're one and the same. They always have been. They like to claim they're the first church. They're nothing close to being the first church. With all of their sculptures and their artwork at the Vatican, and this is how, and let me show you how they represent Jesus. This is how they represent Jesus. Now, the story behind this artwork, if that's what you want to call it, is that this is Jesus after a nuclear explosion. It's a false church. This is also at the Vatican. This is Jesus. Let me zoom in. Does that even look like Jesus? No. That looks like a woman. The Vatican mocks Jesus. The Roman Catholic Church does. And granted, there are many bishops, deacons, priests that are innocent, haven't abused children, and truly believe in the message they're spreading, but they don't even want to hear, do they? They believe that whatever their school taught them was correct, don't they? But let's look at who Jesus was. This is who Jesus is, and the disciples. That's the badass Jesus. And the reason Jesus was a badass was because he's the only man on the planet that truly stood with the people, the everyday people. The people this world disregards. Uneducated, poor, sinful. That's who God went to. So remember that before you attack me. Because you weren't just, Jesus's life represented many things, and one of those was his actual life. Who did he surround himself with? What he wanted you to see were the people he wanted you to listen to. His life period was showing, I go to the people that this world's disregarded because they will know they are the experts. Jesus didn't support this. This was all about them. This was all about their ego. It's all about how they look, how important they are in the world's eyes, how holy they are, and yet anything but holy. But Jesus, he didn't care about those people that thought they were all holy. I mean, he just knew that, I don't want to say he didn't care, he just knew it was a waste of time. They couldn't get it. This world they had been attached to this world too much. This is who Jesus went to. He went to everyday people. More than an amazing man, a true God. Jesus wouldn't support this. Absolutely not. No, because it's bending the knee for man, isn't it? But then they tell you, no, you're really doing it for God, and this is the person that represents God. No, that's why Jesus sent the Holy Spirit. Why didn't the Catholic Church teach that? Why? Explains why I really never learned about the Holy Spirit from the Catholic Church. They really don't touch on it too much, except in odd ways. But that was your teacher. You, every single person on this planet could be educated through the high priest. That's what the Holy Spirit was for. The Catholic Church just continued on what the Pharisees were, which is why they are misled, and they don't even want to see it. Who is in our Congress, on the left and the right? Some atheists, not many, but some. There's Jewish, and the rest are Catholics. Does it sum it up for you? There's a reason that the Catholic religion is the one Christianity that's pushed the most. Because it was never the first church, not unless you want to call it the first church of the fallen gods. That would be closer to the truth. Again, if you're going to attack me, please pray to Jesus before you do. These men who were poor and sinners and had nothing, laid everything on the line to spread Jesus' word. None of those priests in the church back then or today would be able to do that. They don't even know the truth. They're too busy being glorified by this world as if they're holy and they're anything but. But these men, these were the priests. When they died, the priesthood ended. But Jesus knew that would happen, which is why he said, I'm going away so I can send you the Holy Spirit. So that every man and woman on this planet that chose to would truly know from God himself what the truth is. That's what these men risked and died for. The Catholic Church mocks these men and Jesus Christ's life. This makes Jesus the guarantor of a better covenant. The former priests were many in number because they were prevented by death from continuing in office, but he holds his priesthood permanently because he continues forever. He continues forever in your heart. He was who the true high priest was. The Holy Spirit in your heart is your connection to God. Our government's been around a long time. The Roman Empire had it. You see it. Executive, judicial, legislative, committee of 300. All the false church, which is why most of everybody in Washington is Catholic.